Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. How did you guys like Fight Weekend? Look, Fight Weekend wasn't just about wins and losses, guys. I mean, it was honestly a lot about power shifting, especially when it came to the world of boxing. I know we had boxing events, we had UFC. Overall, it was an unbelievable weekend just to sit back and take in a lot of the action and in all both of these unbelievable sports. Now, you had Zuffa Boxing. Zuffa Boxing had officially entered the sport as of Friday, January 23rd. Dana White finally pulled the trigger on this, guys. It's been years, perhaps maybe very long, many months in the waiting. And in the middle of it all, you have Raymond Muratalla, who quietly defended an IBF world title, while Callum King Walsh, who fights out of Ireland, became the face of a new boxing era, guys. And that's right, guys, Callum Walsh. And I kind of want to get into that, guys. It was an unbelievable weekend. It was jam packed, full of lots of action fights. This was Zuffa's, inaugural event, if you want to call it that. It happened at the Meta Apex Center in Las Vegas, just pretty much down the road from the T-Mobile Arena. This happened on Friday, guys, and then on Saturday that you had UFC 324, and it was great. I mean, Callum Walsh and Carlos Ocampo, guys, these guys didn't disappoint. Very good fight. Callum is undefeated, and then you had Carlos, who had a few losses, but he was on a win streak going into this, and he's a veteran, guys, full of experience. But it was good. When I talk about Callum Walsh becoming the new face of the boxing era, guys, I'm serious. I mean, so let's get into that, guys. You guys know who I am. I'm Shiraz. I'm the host of Duality 7X. Welcome back, guys. Please, if you guys love the content here, if you like our videos, please smash a like and subscribe. It totally helps us out. And hit the bell notification so you never miss a beat. I hope you watched my video yesterday on UFC 324, and then the video before that, I talked a little bit about the fight going in with Callum Walsh and Carlos Ocampo, but I also featured one of the fights that happened with the Brand Risk Promotions led by Aiden Ross, where you had Jason Love taking on Adam 22 in a boxing influencer event. It was a lot of fun. It was great to cover it. Anyways, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to take away from this, because the last time I was trying to talk about Callum Walsh and Carlos Ocampo, I started getting carried away with other stuff. No, I want to talk about that fight, guys. I want to talk about Zuffa's opportunity here. As I mentioned, this is a long time coming for the UFC, for the CEO of UFC, Dana White. He was always teasing the opportunity of a boxing promotion kind of coming to fruition. I mean, this happened many years ago. In fact, almost like a decade ago, and here we are. And obviously, he's teamed up with none other than His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh, the chairman of the General Entertainment Authority of Saudi Arabia, and both of these guys are on a quest to make boxing great again. That's not my words, but that's not their words either. But anyhow, but they're trying to create their own entity. They're not really trying to change the rules or anything like that, guys, and I'll kind of get into that. But they do want to keep it kind of self-contained, similar to how the UFC keeps their fighters kind of self-contained. So you don't see UFC fighters going on and fighting in PFL or fighting in any other kind of like Pride or any other mixed martial arts kind of organizations. UFC fighters stay in UFC. So I think the whole intent that Dana White's trying to promote is Zuffa fighters should be fighting in a Zuffa kind of setting. But it's still early, so you will see some Zuffa fighters fighting for maybe unified belts or other belts, but they're still under the Zuffa contract. For now, you're probably going to see a lot of that until they get to the point where they are just a well-oiled machine, very similar to the UFC, and they're able to kind of change the narrative in that sense. So let's talk about. So before I kind of get into that, guys, there was another fight that happened as well too. You also had Muratalla taking on Cruz, guys. This was kind of like the forgotten title fight. So Raymond Muratalla, he went on to retain his WBF title. He earned a beautiful 12-round majority decision over Andy Cruz. A lot of people were not even talking about this, guys, because this fight happened in Fontainebleau in Las Vegas, also in Las Vegas, guys. It was a very, very technical fight. It was kind of like a boxing clinic, a very disciplined kind of a performance, if you want to call it, between the two fighters. And somehow one, I don't know, somehow it just kind of got lost in the radar. I mean, there was just so many things going on, guys, right? And so Raymond himself, he kind of handled his business. Boxing itself is just like, having the opportunity to kind of do what he does. He goes out there flawlessly. He's able to execute. He's a fighter, guys, and he knows how to box. And this is, the ring is where he performs, and that's exactly what he did. And so, yeah, congratulations to Raymond Muratalla. I just wanted to kind of quickly, briefly touch on that. Didn't want people to think that I'm avoiding it, but today's video, I want to focus more on Callum Walsh and Carlos Ocampo and Zuffa's first inaugural boxing event, and how it didn't disappoint at all. Actually, it was amazing. I think even the UFC fans that are associated with the event or watch this event were pleasantly surprised. Especially with the controlled chaos and guys. There's a lot of people saying a lot of things about Zuffa, and I know Dana White's not a big fan of the big sanctioning bodies that are out there in boxing, and I think it's reciprocal. But at the end of the day, I hope they're able to find some kind of a happy medium and be able to all work together, because boxing is a little bit different than the UFC and than MMA. But that said, I was thoroughly entertained. I thought it was really, really good. And, look, I talked about how Dana White was kind of teasing a boxing promotion almost a decade ago, right after, I think it was Floyd Mayweather taking on Conor McGregor. And according to Dana White, he thinks that boxing is broken. He said there's just way too many belts, too many promoters, no centralized type of authority or power. And he wanted to change that, and he felt that he was in a position where he could, kind of like with the UFC, right? So the UFC is self-contained, and I think that's his vision of what he's trying to do with boxing, and especially with Zuffa Boxing. And in a way, Dana's kind of right when it comes to a lot of different sanctioning bodies and a lot of different promoters. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but what's bad is sometimes a lot of these promoters are the reason why you're not seeing a lot of these fights actually materializing or coming to fruition, because it's either egos or money or God knows what that always gets in the way, preventing a lot of good fights from coming out and happening. So that said, Dana White's kind of like on a mission along with his partners. With His Excellency Turkey LL Sheikh, and some other folks, within the TKO Group Holdings, I guess, organization. I believe Nick Khan was there as well too. So they're on a mission and they're trying to do big things, and I think this is just the beginning, right? So anyhow, Callum Walsh, this is a young, incredibly talented fighter. I believe he won comfortably by unanimous decision. He had a score of 98-90, 98-90, and 97-91. That's completely one-sided, guys. I mean, if you want to go according to the ringside judges' scorecards, it wasn't a close fight. I mean, a close fight would have been a margin of about 1 or 2, 3, maybe points, maybe 1 or 2 points. That's a close fight. But this was a one-sided affair. Carlos, though, he had a lot of stamina. He did what he did. He came out there, and he didn't look like he was in trouble. There were moments where he had shades of brilliance and stuff, but then he would just ease right back into his groove. So once he kind of, you almost feel like he started to develop some momentum, he just kind of started to scale back. That's when you put the pedal to the metal, and then you start to go a little bit hard, right? But he wasn't doing that. Callum, on the other hand, he was out there, he was fighting, and the way he normally fights, and he dominated, pure and simple, right? And Walsh looked like he was a fighter being built, not rushed, right? This is important. The broadcast kind of felt like, even the broadcast of the fight almost kind of felt a little bit controlled, and just it just looked like it was. I mean, look, it was for Zuffa's first time. It was great. It was great. I mean, and apparently Dana White wasn't 100% too thrilled, because I'm sure he's probably seen some areas he wants to improve on. But they still rolled in $200,000 some dollars. So not a bad start, especially for an arena that doesn't really fit a lot of people. So I think he did a fantastic job. Right. So yeah, there's a little bit of controversy, of course, like most fights. There was like a questionable knockdown ruling that happened in the sixth round, kind of a low blow deduction that the referees took a point off. The judges took a point off for Carlos Ocampo doing a low blow. So yeah, I mean the low blow deduction. I don't really think that really changes anything. I wasn't like overly concerned or anything. It wouldn't have really made a difference in the grand scheme of things, considering that this was a completely one-sided fight. I mean, if the margin of error was honestly between 1 point, then it could have been somewhat kind of controversial. But anytime those kind of penalties occur, it is somewhat controversial, right, to begin with. But I mean, that's, guys, it is what it is. I think both of these fighters came in showing what it is that they do. And I didn't expect anything less. This is kind of what I expected to see both of these fighters at their caliber and skill set level to do, and they did just that. They boxed, and look. So where it kind of gets interesting from here is Zuffa Boxing. They got plans of wanting to create their own title. So this is going to be really interesting, right? They're going to use the Ring Magazine rankings. Okay, that's important to them. They're using Paramount Plus. I mean, you guys know that. There's been a lot of discussions about Dana White, Zuffa Entertainment, Endeavor, TKO Holdings, His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh of the General Entertainment Authority Board in Saudi, and Nick Khan and a few other guys, kind of all getting together, and they signed a $7.7 billion deal with Paramount Plus to be able to showcase their fights. So, these guys are serious. These guys are doing big things, and they've got big power brokers behind these guys. And they want to do simulcast select events on CBS. So I think it's going to be fantastic. This is not your like traditional style kind of boxing. I mean, this has a lot of the elements of like the UFC kind of format and structure, but this time they're applying it to boxing, right? So in the timing, it wasn't accidental by any stretch. I mean, this event honestly took place the night before UFC 324. Dana didn't want his two entities kind of going head to head. That wouldn't have been fair, but just literally miles away from one another. One at the Meta Apex Center, just down the road from the T-Mobile Arena, both in Las Vegas. You had UFC fighters, boxers. You had both people, affiliations on both sides attending these events, and WWE stars in attendance as well too. But this was a statement. This was a statement. It was combat sports under one ecosystem. Imagine that. No one's ever thunk it. Or maybe they did, but no one's ever done it. This is the first time it's being happening. Dana White is putting UFC, putting mixed martial arts and boxing under the same umbrella, and he's making it work. All right, so it's absolutely crazy. So yeah, guys, we saw some really good fights over the weekend. Raymond Muratalla defended his legitimate world title. Callum Walsh, headlined the inaugural event of Zuffa Boxing, basically kicking off a new era in boxing, and now becoming the face of this promotion. And Dana White has officially entered boxing, guys. Whether you like it or not, I think it's fantastic. More competition just means It's going to hold more people accountable. And of course, what does this mean about the future of all the different belts? That remains to be seen. Obviously, you can't just cold turkey, cut off from the other sanctioning bodies. I mean, they're going to be there. They're going to do what they're going to do. But Zuffa Boxing is not there to replace boxing, but they just want to start to kind of create and build their own ecosystem. And they're just trying to figure out how to go about coordinating all those elements into one. And so it definitely has a lot of people, a lot of promoters and the sanctioning bodies behind it paying a lot of attention. But it's going to be interesting to see kind of how this plays out. So, guys, I want to thank you guys for sticking around. If you enjoy these real fight breakdowns and narratives, and especially conversations, especially when it comes to the world of combat sports via MMA, UFC, WWE, boxing, you're definitely at the right place. Please smash a like and subscribe button and hit the bell notifications so you never miss a beat. And more importantly, please leave some thoughts and comments because I respond to all of them. And the question really comes down to is Zuffa Boxing the future for boxing? Or is it just another experiment or just another entity that's going to just continue to live in its own ecosystem and do what it does? Is this good for boxing? Is it bad for boxing? I'm Shiraz. I'm with Duality 7X. I want to hear from you guys. Thank you so much, and I look forward to catching you guys tomorrow in our next video.